Hey, what's up guys? So today we're going to be talking about Denko Sekka once again. I have actually talked about this card a little bit, but I want to talk about this card a little bit more today because I really feel like this can completely change up the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! So let's go ahead and read its effect real quick and then let's talk about what its impact on the meta is going to be. So it is a level 4 Thunder that says that it cannot be special summoned, but while you control no set spell or trap cards, neither player can set spell or trap cards nor activate spell or trap cards that are set on the field. So that means once this card is summoned, I'm going to go ahead and say no to all your back row. Of course, unless this card gets negated, through other cards, or if it just happens to get warning, that one warning that you have, or that new Solemn Advice card. But for the most part, this card is actually really strong in the game because so many decks right now can revolve around the pendulum mechanic, which is still relatively new to the game. Now this card completely supports pendulums because it just says that you cannot set spell trap cards or activate cards that are set on the field. So if you're playing a pendulum based deck, this is basically Cold Wave because obviously you're not going to be setting too many cards. You're probably going to be playing a lot more cards, therefore you can get off your combos to complete your pendulum scale, and then you just want to go for game. Now I don't really want to have a discussion about is this card broken for the game. It's more just so is this card really good, and I find this card to be very strong. It's almost like a Thunder King in a sense against certain decks where it completely can shut them down. For example, if you're playing against like Burning Abyss, Burning Abyss is a deck that heavily relies on a lot of spell and traps. Sometimes they don't always open up with a spell or trap card that they're going to be able to really make use of without discarding a Burning Abyss. So a lot of the greater cards in that deck, like Phoenix Wing Wind Blast, or some of them play Regeki Break, some of those cards revolve around like discarding. Sometimes if they don't open up with a Burning Abyss, you can kind of shut them down because the deck plays a ton of traps. And so what you're going to be able to do is just summon this card, and then you're not going to be able to activate anything, and then you can just overwhelm them. Now anything that is a trap heavy deck can simply lose to this. I know of course if the Burning Abyss happened and draw Tour Guide, yeah, that's an exception. But for the most part, this will guarantee your safe plays against decks that really like to play a ton of back row. Whether it be something like Gladiator Beast, not that that is a relevant deck. But as far as the meta goes, I feel like this card's very good, because it definitely supports OTK playstyles and decks that are able to do it. More so just the pendulum mechanic, because pendulums, as a lot of you guys have probably found out, if you get bottomless, you basically lose if you're going to go for everything. Or MST can even wreck you sometimes. But this card will make it so you can get everything successful. So this is one of the best cards, I think, if you're going to be playing a pendulum deck. Definitely consider running this card. But I'd love to know what you guys think about this card. Would you actually play multiple copies of this? I think this is basically the end of any type of burn deck, essentially. If you get to summon this first turn against any burn deck, very few of them will actually have any answers. Maybe some will have a Soul Taker, but for the most part, most burn decks will just absolutely lose to this card. You summon it, they can't activate anything, they're not going to be able to burn you, and you sit there and you poke at them for game, because more than likely there's not very many good burn cards that you just face up and you activate them over and over. Most of them, they have to be set like gift card and all the other good stuff. But would you guys main deck this, or would you guys side deck this? For me personally, if I was playing a pendulum deck, I see no problem with just main decking a bunch of these, because most of the time with pendulums, you're going to be going for your big pushes once you go for the pendulum play, and this will make it so your opponent can't respond to it. It's basically Cold Wave, but in a monster form, and it does have decent attack too. Like Falso Dyna has really weak attack, it's got a great effect, but this card has a decent amount of attack too, 1700. So any deck that has to rely on back row, they just won't be able to do too much. And even if you can combo Denko Sekka with other like cards like Burn of the Mighty or something, maybe that's not a too relevant on card, but like you can still control face ups. So that's just what I really wanted to mention with this card to actually protect itself with. But in any pendulum deck, I see no reason not to why not playing a few of these, or at least testing it out. Because this card, I mean, Cold Wave was banned for a reason. It makes it so your opponent can't respond. And this is a permanent effect too. So it might be, in some senses, better than a Cold Wave in the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! But let me know, guys, what decks also would you want to play this card in? Because any pendulum deck, for the most part, would be very good. Any deck that doesn't really need its normal summon can definitely go off with this card. And it's level 4, and it's a Thunder. Get that Thunder Seahorse ready, guys. But anyways, thanks for watching, guys. Agent Ice signing out.